would be your top priority of spending? Education, maintenance of our buildings and grounds or sports? And how should the taxpayers measure results? Kit Johnston.
That's a really good question. I have sitting before me the 2013 fiscal year budget for the schools and the 2014 budget. I've been looking fairly closely at both of them. As many of the other school divisions around us, we emphasize instruction. I was reading the Culpeper Superintendent's 2013 report last night, and the portion of their budget that goes to instruction is 73%. The next largest category, maintenance, at 10%. We don't want to make that maintenance problem, a problem for us again. We need to have, good maintenance operation, but more importantly than that, obviously, we have to put our money where the most important thing is in our schools, and that's instruction of our kids so they can succeed.
Joe Parker.
Most important thing in prioritizing, I would put education, maintenance, and then sports. It seems that past boards have had that a little bit skewed in how they allocate the monies for the school system. Right now we have schools that are sick, schools that have mold in them, schools that have climate control issues, leaking roofs, and there are actions in place to remedy those. But I think before we spend any penny of our budget, we need to look at that dollar or that penny and make sure that it is going to improving the educational process and improving the education of our students. That's number one priority for any money that's spent.
Martin Boone.
Well, having sat through 3 budget processes, the instructional piece of it is by far the first priority and the largest part of the budget. It always is. It makes sense. You're going to be paying for salaries for teachers. You're going to be paying for books. You're going to be paying for electronic equipment for the schools. That's the things that you need to teach the kids. So that is a priority. The next thing, of course, is the facilities. Now, we have a very old schools, old set of buildings here. So there are going to be costs involved with that. We manage those as best we can with what we have left over. Now, and then of course sports is last. Now, I know people have mentioned some things about the priority in relation to mold issues and things like that. Everything that has happened, we put out the bid at about the same time. There are other factors that come in that make us make different decisions about when we put things in place. And I can't go into it because I don't want 2 minutes.
Barry Penn Holler.
Well, obviously, which you're going to make a priority, education, maintenance, or sports. We're all going to say education, of course, first, maintenance second, sports third. But I think the question is the right question. The right question is, what's the relationship between the maintenance of your facility and your educational mission? What's the relationship between your sports program and your educational mission? We shouldn't spend $1 on either unless it serves our educational mission.
Doreen Jenkins.
I think everybody's touched on it. The main thing is to be sure that our kids get the best education possible. And where does that go? I mean, is it in the instruction? Of course, we want to keep our teachers, retain the best that's out there. We want to be sure the buildings are conducive to good education, the lighting, the air, whatever. And when it comes to what happens when we have long-range plans, we've gone through what can be done, what can be reconstructed, and we have to consider when school's in session and how things need to be moved around. So I think we're working together to be sure that we have the money in place to get things done on a schedule that's most conducive to the education of the kids in the system.
Question 6.